Hi, this is Trinesha and today I wanted to talk about respect. So, I know you're probably thinking, what is making you want to do a video about respect? I know I start the videos like that, but I feel like it's like my whole vibe now. Like, it's all like the whole intro is usually like the same for the most part. And so, so what makes me want to do a video about respect is I was having a conversation with some of my family members today, and we were just talking about things that we had done in the past, and I went to this event that my aunt invited me to, and it was about the one of the revolutions, like a resolution that happened within the town that I grew up in, and it went through and they did like a reenactment and they kind of talked about different things. And as we were going through the event and they had it catered, and we were at this vineyard and everything else, then I I had a conversation. Our group had a conversation with one of the members, and as they talked about like the historic society and different things that have happened, they said how important it is to know your people from like your generations in the past, like your ancestors. I don't know why I was drawing a blank for a second on that, but but for you to know your ancestors, because not only will it benefit you in knowing that, but it'll make you want to learn more about the past. And what immediately came to my mind, and I took notes throughout this event because I'm one of those people that just likes to write and everything. So I didn't have a pen and paper, but I did have my phone. So, I'm sitting there like trying to write as much information as I can because I try to pull things from everywhere. And, even the Bible says, without knowledge, the people perish. I want to know as much as I possibly can. I don't want to ever feel like I know so much I can never learn anything. I want to continuously learn. I want my mind to be like this sponge that's just soaking up as much helpful information as I possibly can. Anything that could help me grow, help me learn, help me become a better person, help me expand the business the way that God sees fit. Allow me to become the woman that God created me to be. Anything that I can do to be a better person, I want to learn how to do it. And I don't ever like when I do these videos, I know I always say I'm not perfect and things like that, but I think it's important for you to know that even if it's a person on YouTube, even if it's a person online or in society, in the world, somebody that you admire, celebrity, whatever it is, they will never be perfect because they're not God. It's important to know that every human being has flaws. Every human being has things they can work on. Every human being has something that they were insecure about at one point in time. Every human being has something that is a weakness or something that is a strength. And it's nothing wrong with that. I think the moment that you realize that you have flaws, you realize that you're not perfect. The moment that you realize that you're going to acknowledge the things that you do wrong, that you're really going to do some self-reflection and understand like, hey, I need to be really honest with myself and saying that this is my flaw, saying that this is something I struggle with. Because for me, the thing that helps me so much in my moments of weakness is me really acknowledging where I'm weak at so I can call on God when I need Him. If I was fronting and pretending like I had it all figured out, I would never call on God when I actually need Him because I would be so arrogant and thinking that I can just handle this on my own. I wouldn't even seek God's assistance when I actually need it. So, here's some notes that I pulled from the resolution thing today for like historic event in my town. So, as I went through, they were talking about different things and how they wanted change to happen. And they were saying, well, even though we want change to happen, even though we want things to be different, they will probably end up treating us like a second class citizen. When they said that, I don't know if this happens to everybody, but I felt something in my spirit when they said that. They would probably treat us like a second class citizen. It immediately made me think of how we really need to respect ourselves. That regardless of what anybody else thinks about us, how they feel about us, we have to know who we are. We can't rest on someone else's acknowledgement or someone else's encouragement or what someone else's thoughts or opinions of who we are. Do we take some helpful critique, like constructive criticism, into effect, like we use it and implement it in our life? Absolutely, because we want to become better. But every person that tells you something they do and don't like is not always helpful. Sometimes they're just doing it because they want to stunt your growth. And sometimes I'll have haters. And I'm not saying this in an arrogant way, I'm just saying it in a being transparent kind of way. But sometimes I'll have people that are haters that will say something like, oh, she thinks this, or she's always doing this. And I don't know if everybody does this or if I'm just doing this now because I'm working on myself and I'm willing to work on becoming a better person regardless. So they could say something like, oh, she's always doing blah, or she's always this. And I'll be like, you know what? I always do. I really do that. Like, that is what I do. And I'll be like, that's a strength that I didn't even realize that I had. But this person who's a hater helped me become a better person unknowingly. I'm like, if we could really take things that people say like that and really run with it, really use it for our benefit, use it to benefit the kingdom of God, to put it towards our purpose. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine what we could do? Like, instead of us being like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about, blah, blah, blah. Like, I really was like, oh, I really do that. Like, that is what I do. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. I guess there could be a pro and con to everything that you do in life. And for me, I want to use that as a strength because I now know that that's something that someone sees in me, even though I'm not just, relying solely on their opinion of me. But that thing helped open my eyes. It helped me see an area of my life where I didn't realize I even have a strength in. I didn't even realize that this was something that I was good at. This was something that people saw when they looked at me. But because I was willing to listen, because I was really willing, I was willing to hear what they said and listen to what they were saying so that I could implement in my life, so I could become a better person. And I just, oof, it's something about that second class citizen thing that he said. It was just like, I really felt it like, not everybody's going to treat you the way that you want to be treated. You want to be treated with respect. You want to be, treated with honor and respect, dignity and respect. You want to be treated the right way. But some people will treat you like a second class citizen if you let them. But you can't allow somebody else to tell you who you are. You really can't. You can't, you cannot allow someone else's opinion of you to form who you are. Can you use it as constructive criticism or use it to become better in one area that you didn't know what you were weak in? Yes. Does that mean that you listen to everything that they say and you take it to heart to mean that you're not the person who God created you to be? Absolutely not. You keep on pushing. You keep on doing what it is that you have to do because you can't let anything stop you. You can't allow any person to come in and their opinion to change who you believe that you are. You need to be true to yourself. And you need to understand that not everybody is going to be pleased with everything that you do because you can't please everybody. Everybody's opinion is going to change every day. Somebody could be happy with you one day and not happy with you the next day. They could be upset about something the next day. So you have to really learn how to weave through the things that people say and understand that sometimes when people say things, it will be helpful. It will be something that you need. Maybe God was allowing that person to be used to be able to show you that, hey, you're gifted in this area. Other times, it could just be a person who's there just to show you that, hey, I'm doing it. There's not one person who's hating on somebody that's not doing something that they want to be able to do. If they haven't stepped into their purpose, if they haven't been intentional with their life, if they haven't been making this amount of money, if they haven't been doing this, whatever it is that you're doing that they see that they wish that they could do, then obviously they wouldn't be hating. So you're doing something right. So keep on going. Don't let that stop you. Keep on, use it as fuel so that you can continue to push through your life, so that you can continue to be more and more successful. That person doesn't even know, but they gave you enough fuel to make it to the next stop on your journey in life. Didn't even know it. And the next thing was, you cannot prepare for something to change if you are not willing to be the instrument of change. That was said by some founder. I did not they were doing a reenactment, and when I was writing notes I didn't see who said it, but one of the founders from the 1766 resolution, or 1776, because it started in 1766 and ended in 1776. And so as they were talking, I was like, he said that, and I was like, you cannot prepare for something to change if you're not willing to be an instrument of change. I hope you heard that, because when I heard it, I was like, yes, absolutely. We sit around and we see things that should be different. We want things to change. We want things to be different, but we're doing absolutely nothing. Oh, why are they doing this? We don't understand why they keep on doing this way. Maybe you're supposed to be the person who's there to help them see that there's an easier solution. There might be something else that people could do in this area. Maybe you're like, oh, they're always complaining. Maybe you're the person who sees that they complain, and you need to be the person that speaks life into them, that adds joy to the conversation. Maybe you pivot the whole conversation and change it into something that's positive. Maybe you see somebody do something wrong and they constantly are treating people badly, and you're just like, this isn't right. I don't understand why they're doing this. And you sit by and idly just allow this to happen because you feel like you're not going to be able to change things, but you are the change. You have to be used as an instrument to be able to change things, because when we are born, we are created to be a solution to some sort of problem. If you are sitting by, if you let these things continuously happen and you know that it bothers you, you know that it's something in your spirit that just won't allow that thing to be, you can't stop thinking about how wrong this is. You can't stop thinking about how this needs to change. You can't stop. It really bothers you. Everybody else is just sitting around just accepting it, but you know there's better. You are the change. You have to allow yourself to be an instrument for the change that you want to see in this world. You can't just sit here and pretend like things are going to change on their own. They are only change when you are intentional with your life. You have to really sit down and think, what are the things that you want to see change in the world, in your life, in the position you're in the job, in the what house, whatever it is. And especially if you're a man, I know I say this, and people are probably gonna be like, "You always saying good things about men." Listen, I don't want to put down any brother, any man at all. Like, when I tell you, if a man, I know I say this and some people get mad, but this is how I truly feel. I'm sorry if I offend anybody, or anybody feels like I'm trying to like cater to men and make them feel better about themselves. I want everybody to feel good about themselves. I really truly feel like this division stuff that we're on is not it. It's not God. We keep on trying to be up against each other like it's really helping us and it's hurting us. We keep on thinking that, women against women is like where it's at, because, it makes this man look good. Y'all all don't look like you're getting the things that you deserve. You don't. It might feel acceptable temporarily. Maybe you're temporarily satisfied. I don't know what it is, but it's, if you are hurting somebody else, you are not helping the world. You're not helping the kingdom. So what are you doing? You know? And I really feel like men could lead in the best way. If you really like, I feel like I'm gonna be so judged for saying this, but I really feel like a good, decent man who is held accountable. I have to say that because I know somebody's gonna say, well, you're not saying hold them accountable, you're saying baby them or whatever else. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, and any man could be this. Any man in this entire world could be a good leader. They could be the person that helps change the entire world. If a man is distracted, if a man is doing the wrong thing, if a man is being desolate, if they are just drifting in life and not in their role that they were intended in the kingdom as a leader, that's what's destroying all the families. That's what's destroying everything. And I'm not saying it's just all on the man or all on the women. I really feel like the division is what's causing us to be stagnant instead of being able to be more powerful. Imagine how unstoppable we could be if we actually would work together. Just imagine. Imagine a world where I'm not about to start this like a movie. But immediately that's what I thought when I said that. In a world where but seriously, imagine imagine if we were living the way that God intended for us to live. If we were being intentional about our lives. if the men were leading in the way that God intended for them to lead, if the women were really helping and being passionate and considerate, and we all knew that what God had for us is for us and nobody else could take that from us. Imagine how it would be in this life. Imagine how much security each person would have knowing that they listened to God and they were being obedient and they were intentional in the role that they were supposed to play in their life. They didn't just go out and just try to make it a whole new trend to make people feel better about doing the worst thing that they could possibly do. They didn't just go and just try doing what society's doing. They literally were being obedient to God and doing the things that God wanted them to do. They were literally just seeking God first. And because they were seeking God, they had respect for one another. Because they were seeking God, they honored one another. Because they were seeking God, they treated each other with common decency. Because they were seeking God, they knew they had a guide for how they should be living their life. Instead of them being completely selfish, they really started to consider one another's feelings instead of just thinking about, oh, this is what I want, forget what the other person wants. Instead of thinking like, oh, I want this thing, not I need it, not this is what God wanted for me, but I want this thing, we could actually think this is what God intended for us to have. And for me, when I'm obedient to God, and I haven't done this in relationships, but when I'm like following God's lead and God is telling me to do certain things in life, or there's things that He desires for me to do, and I'm following, the biblical standard, then I notice that I feel so secure and confident in knowing that I'm doing exactly what God intended. When I try to, do things my own way, I feel so confused, so conflicted, and I end up nowhere. I end up going around in circles for no reason. Like I did this to myself. But when I follow God, He gives me so much a peace that surpasses any understanding. He literally makes me feel contentment within who I am and what I'm doing. Because I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing and where I'm supposed to be. It doesn't matter if someone says, oh, you shouldn't do this. God told me to be here. I'm going to be here as long as God is telling me that He wants me here, you know? And it's not making me feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't. It's making me feel like I'm exactly where God intended me to be. I know who I am in this position. I know who I am at this place. I know who I am because God created me to be exactly who He created me to be. This woman of God, this woman of strength. And when I'm not strong enough, God is my strength. This woman who wants to see people win, who likes speaking life into people. A person who is compassionate for others, caring, considerate. I said that twice. But really, it knowing God really makes me know who I am. It's like nobody can take away the fact that God is God and He created me exactly the way He wanted me to be. No matter what anyone else wants to change about me. And I'm not talking about constructive criticism. I'm talking about people trying to change me at my core when I am who I am. I am who God says I am. I'm who He intended for me to be. And I want to be intentional in that. So, the next thing that I have. So, as the person sat down and that was doing the reenactment and they talked about learning your family history, he said it would be good to know, that way you can know like what your ancestors were doing and things like that. I put This is like my interpretation because I just like to I like to put additional stuff that I learned. I feel like I'm taking in from the message or whatever it is when people are talking and saying things. Don't mind my hair. I just got out of my class, so my hair is like a little wet and stuff, and it's doing its own thing like usual. But I put at least learn your family history so you can see what has happened. I'm talking about the past. It's like that generational curse that we keep on trying to break, that God sent you here to break. You're the person that sees your family does this thing and it's not right, and you were the person who was sent here to be able to change it. You don't understand why. You just feel like, what, why am I changing? Why do I not feel comfortable doing this? Why isn't this something that I'm just like, okay, let me just do this? And a lot of people will say, well, I just feel like I'm left out of the family. No, you're not left out. You're graced for this. This is part of your purpose. You just didn't understand it until now. You are the person who is going to change things. That generational curse, that generational trauma, that thing that keeps on going through generation to generation to generation, that keeps on wreaking havoc on your family. It's something that your mom, your grandma, your great grandma, your great great grandma struggled with. And you're struggling with it now, and you had no idea that that spirit was on the family. You had no idea that that was something that has been trying to stop every generation's purpose since the beginning of time. When you really learn your past, it'll help you gear up for the future. I need to put on my whole armor of God, and I need to know exactly what I'm dealing with. And I can't know that without knowing my history. I just can't. And I feel like somebody's going to say this. I just felt it. But listen, if you are somebody who's adopted and you don't know what your generational history is or the trauma from your past, don't feel like you can't beat it. You might not have all of the things that you need to figure out what was happening in the past, which is with something that you're struggling with, but you know what you could do. Seek God. You can follow His guidance because God already won the battle before you even started. You just have to believe in yourself and you have to be ready for the war, the spiritual warfare, psychological, emotional warfare that's about to hit you. And while you're doing that, seek counseling, get a life coach, do all the things that you need to do so that you are prepared mentally, physically, and emotionally. Because sometimes it gets real difficult, especially when you're doing it on your own and people don't understand the spiritual warfare is real. Some people will be like, oh, just do this. I'm like, no, this spirit, it's not just like a one and done kind of thing. It's I'm going to keep on going until I get one of you. And you can't have me. I'm God's. That spirit of disobedience, that spirit of whatever it is that you feel is just like wreaking havoc on your life, it's just trying to get a hold of who you are when you know you want to be better. That thing is the thing that you have to get rid of. That's the thing that you're going to have to battle with the help of God. You're going to have to do it because if you don't end it, the next generation will have to deal with it. And so I put his at least learn the family history so you can see what has happened. And then the next thing is what is happening so it could help you in the future. Sometimes we'll be dealing with something right now, and it could be something that you're like, okay, well, like for me, it's my purpose. And I heard one pastor say, I don't know if this is true, but they said that if you don't step into your purpose and you don't do the things and change the things that God intended for you to change right now, the next generation is the one that's going to have this on their shoulders to carry it. Well, they said the next generation, the blessing will be given to the next generation. But for me, what keeps me going is knowing that sometimes, like the burden that I feel with carrying, and I don't want to say this in an ungrateful way at all, because I definitely asked for this, and I'm here because I'm ready for battle. I'm ready to put on my whole armor of God. I'm ready to be about that God life, like for real. And so, so when I hear the gift will be given to the next generation, it immediately made me think of not only will the gift be given, but the battle will as well. I can't allow my child or any other future children to ever have to deal with the burden that I feel sometimes, or deal with, I don't know how to describe it, but that spiritual, psychological, and emotional warfare that I have to go through while I'm trying to change things, I'm not trying to allow my daughter or any generation to come to have to deal with that, to have to go through that emotional, psychological struggle, to feel like they got to start further back than they could have because I didn't make the start line further ahead from where I started. If I make my daughter start in the same spot that I had to start, I haven't done anything with my life. What am I doing if if I'm just holding generations to come back, if I'm holding her back? I really need to be intentional. I really need to be in my purpose. I need to be helping the people that God is telling me to help, to speak in life into the people who God wants me to speak life into. I need to be about that God life. I mean, when I say no drifting, I mean intentionality every single day. Whatever it is that I have to do so I can make sure that the people the family coming behind me, the generations coming behind me, my children, my children's children, whoever else it is, I need to make sure that they are ready, that they got everything they need, because not only was I ready for the spiritual warfare, I put on my full armor of God, and I made sure that they didn't have to start where I struggled. They can go over that. They can go past that. That's not even going to be an issue in the future, because I stayed strong, because I allowed God to be my strength when I was weak, because I allowed to myself to stand flat-footed in faith, grounded in my faith. I allowed God to guide me. I didn't just do something for a selfish reason so that I could set back the rest of the generations to come. I made sure I was intentional. I made sure that I left a legacy, something that, when I heard AO say this, and he got it, I think, from someone else, but he said something like, oh my goodness, I'm going to lose it. Mm. He got it from Steve Harvey. That's what it was. And he said, he said that he wants his children's children to know his name. That's what I want. I want that legacy. I want for generations to come to remember that their great great grandma, even though it wasn't easy, kept on going. I never gave up. I always was obedient to God. I made sure that every generation to come is speaking life into each other. We're not holding each other back. We're not about to make somebody feel badly about themselves. We are encouraging one another, because we know that with God, anything is possible. We're not allowing Satan to come in and allow us to drift or use cynicism to make us cycle all of the negative thoughts in our minds to stop us from our purpose. We never give up on ourselves. We are the type of people who change the world. We are world changers. And in order for us to be able to do that, it starts with me. I'm going to be the person who changes the legacy. I'm going to be the person who leaves a legacy, who changes generations to come. So, in conclusion, because I don't want this to be long, and I plan on, so this is so funny, but so Valentine's Day was like a week and a half ago or something. And I ended up, plans started changing. So the plan got changed for me. That weekend I was gonna do like this rose petal bubble bath with Epsom salt. And the salt was gonna be like a I can't remember what kind of berry it is. It's like elderberry and rose scent with some other kind of fragrance, and it's really relaxing. And so I was gonna do that bath with like the little wooden thing with the wine, and a few other things. Like, I was gonna make it a whole vibe. I was gonna do a charcuterie board. I had like my gift that you saw sitting here in some of my old videos, and in it I had a satin robe, and I think it was like a bath bomb or something like that. And I had 3 pairs of satin shorts with flower print or something like that on there. So I got that. That was my Valentine's Day gift to myself. And I had like this cute little bow with baby's breath on it, and it was like a whole vibe. And so my plan was, I was gonna pop this popcorn, have the charcuterie board. I was gonna have this thing all laid out, do the bath. I was gonna like be real super intentional, with everything that I was doing. And then I was gonna watch this movie that I had been planning on watching like 2, 3 weeks ago. And I was like, I'm saving this for my me date. I'm saving this for my Valentine's Day that I'm having with myself. Like, this is what I'm doing for myself, not apart from my self-care that I do anyways. But this was gonna be something that was specifically because of Valentine's Day, because this is gonna sound real cheesy, but God is love. And because God is love, and I know what his love is now that I rededicated my life to him, I know that love is something that I desire. I know that, and I don't just mean love from a person. I mean the love that I get from God and the love that I have for myself. And so when I do like the self-care stuff, when I do my me dates, when I do like special things like this, I want to make sure that I'm super intentional and I'm loving myself, like really loving myself. All of the things that I desire, that I want to do to like treat myself really well. I want to make sure I'm intentional about it. I want to make sure every third Saturday of the month I'm going on a me date, or whatever it is, like whatever your day is, I'm doing a me date. during the day, I might spend a moment like just doing a thankful, grateful thing, or I might take like a couple minutes and just sit there and just really acknowledge the fact that I'm here, acknowledge the fact that, you know, this this is the life that I want. Like really do like a visualization of the life that I'm trying to create for myself. And I really try to do like little things like that. I'll do stuff like extra moisturize, or or something that's like, it seems small, but it's the small things that add up to something big that really help you feel better about yourself. Like when I get up today and I did this whole outfit thing, or tomorrow when I do my outfit of the week or whatever else, it's like those things are things that add to me. And when, like, the sets that I got, the Valentine's Day sets, when I go and I do like the bath tonight, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do the whole satin set thing. It's gonna be on, and I'm gonna be, because, and I'm not saying this because I'm trying to, make anybody feel some type of way. I'm just saying this because I really think it's important to be intentional in every area of your life. I don't want anything left. I want it all. Like when I say I want it all, I want it all. Everything that God is intending for me, I want it. And I can't have it if I'm lacking in any area. I can't. I can't be lacking on just like, oh, let me just throw on some old sweats with, paint stains all over them because I'm just in the house. Listen, I'm just as important as all of these other people that I'm trying to meet. So if I'm not paying attention and I don't take care of myself when I'm by myself, then what is the point of me doing all of that for somebody else? You know, I really want to be intentional with the type of love that and respect and care that I show for myself, because I can't expect somebody else to respect me when I don't respect myself. I can't expect somebody else to honor me when I don't honor myself. I can't expect someone to treat me in a certain way if I don't treat myself that way. And am I saying I'm expecting a whole bunch of stuff? No. But I do expect decency and and common decency and respect. That's what I do desire and I want. I want somebody to treat me the way God intended me to be treated. And in order for that to happen, I have to treat myself that way. I can't just expect somebody to come in and treat me in a way that I don't even treat myself. Like if I'm talking down to myself and being negative to myself, and I'm not doing self-care dates, or, doing self-care things that are helping me love myself, how could I ever expect anybody else to honor me, respect me, or love me if I don't even love myself? You know? And so I try to make sure I'm super intentional with everything that I'm doing with my skin, what I'm doing with my hair. Like my hair right now is in these two pigtails because I had to do this class, and earlier today my hair was looking good before it got wet. It still looks good. It's just different. But I try to make sure that I'm constantly cleaning my hair, I'm moisturizing, I'm doing the things that I need to do so that my hair can be taken care of. I want it to be presentable because I want to take care of it and show God that I really appreciate the hair that He's given me. If it's kinky, if it's straight, if it's short, if it's long, whatever it looks like, I want to take care of it to the best of my ability so I can make sure that it's healthy. My body, I want to make sure my body's healthy by eating the right things, exercising. I'm intentional in that area. When it comes to clothes, I want to make sure that my clothes don't have spots all over them or holes all over the place. Some people have intentional holes because they have holes in jeans and everything else. I get that. But I'm saying, like, I want to make sure that I'm paying attention to the things that I'm putting on my body. I'm making sure that I'm being intentional with the way that I dress my body. I'm not just dressing overly, one way. I'm making sure that I respect my body enough to wear clothes that are, fashion forward or whatever, but also something that is me. Something that makes me feel like, okay, this is the type of person that I want to present myself as. This is the type of person that I am. Because even though it's just a plain t-shirt, it's still got this. It's still got, it's still other things that are going on that's making this into something else. That's making this me. And I'm not, the outfit isn't doing the most. It's literally a black shirt and some jeans. But because I paid attention, because paid close attention to what I'm doing, I was intentional with the things that I'm putting on my body. I'm making sure that it's not a whole bunch of stains on my shirt. And I'm on here on this video with a bunch of stains, or, whatever else. I'm being intentional. And when it comes to, my nails and stuff, they're presentable. They're all red and like a little sparkle, but it's not like I usually do. Usually I have something else, but I just decided to go all red this time just to keep it simple so I don't have to do, because let me tell you, I know I said this is the end, but when I went to do my nails, I was like, oh my gosh, I got it starts to peel on the side a little. And I think it's just the type of polish I have, or it might be the UV light that I got. But it starts to peel a little. And so every 3 days, I have to take off the polish and repaint them in order for them to look like this. So I'm kind of like, is it really going to be worth it, me not going to a salon to get my nails done? Or is it more beneficial for me to just do it at home and just paint it every 3 days? Like it's probably taking up more time, which time is something that the most expensive thing that you have. So I'm like, is it worth it if I'm wasting, you know, 10 minutes or 30 minutes every 3 days doing something when I could be doing something else? I'm painting my nails when I could be doing something else. But I'm gonna see how it goes. I said I was gonna do this for like 2 to 3 months. So by May, I guess we're gonna see. I mean, I've been struggling. I've been like, I mean, it's decent. It really doesn't look bad. It really doesn't. So it's not like, see how it's got like the gold. So I did like a little bit of gold detail on the ends, and then they're all red. But yeah, so it's not like it looks bad. It's just, it takes extra effort to do it because I didn't just get my nails done and then 2 to 3 weeks later I could just get them redone. It's like every 3 days. But you got to do what you got to do. I said I was going to be a good steward of my money. So I'm trying to be a good steward. And I know some people are like, listen, I don't like God, I could still be intentional with my money and do that as well. But I just want to see, I want to show God that I can be a good steward, that I'm using money for the right things, that I'm not just like, oh yeah, I'm really making sure that if God is blessing me with a certain amount of money, I'm using it for the things I need to use it for, not just getting my nails done or something else. Like there's more important things than that. And so just like my teeth, when I go brush my teeth in the morning and at night, when I'm listerining and tongue scraping and all of the things that I do, and I'm whitening my teeth every like 2 weeks or whatever else, so they look like this. Like they only look like this because I literally whiten my teeth every 2 weeks. And I don't whiten my teeth with a whitener because the enamel could get weaker and things like that, and your teeth could get more sensitive because of the whitening treatment. So what I do is I use like peroxide and baking soda, one of them, and I use that, and I think it's some sort of paste stuff that I put in there. I don't know if it's toothpaste or sometimes it's toothpaste, sometimes it's Vaseline, and I mix it together and I go each individual tooth, like I take my finger, I make sure my hands are clean. I don't just be sticking my hands in my mouth. But but I after my hands are clean, and it's important to say that for whatever reason, but I make sure my hands are clean and I scoop out a little bit in each individual tooth. I go in and do this. I know. So it's like, it's a real thing. That's why they look like this. They don't look like this just because I'm like, oh, whatever. Let me just eat a whole bunch of chocolate and then go on here and never brush my teeth again. Like, no, I make sure that I take care of my dental hygiene is super important. I want to make sure that, I'm taking care of my teeth to the best of my ability. And it's not just about them looking like this. It's about the health of them being good. It's about, how if you're not taking care of your teeth, it can lead to all other types of issues within your body, and which is not good. And people really try to act like that's not important. Like, oh yeah, whatever. But no, it is important. Like, you don't want to have heart issues because you're not taking care of your teeth. You don't want to have other issues within your body because of your teeth. So just be intentional with the things you're doing. Respect your mind, respect your body, respect your soul, respect yourself. Because if you don't do it, why would someone else be willing to do that for you?